Hello, friends, and welcome to your weekly check-in. So it is actually July 4th, which we call Independence Day. But as we move through our meditation, I want to think about interdependence, right? Because we are all interdependent on each other. And I think sometimes Americans get a little extreme with the independence thing. You can disagree with me and turn this off immediately. But if, like me, you believe that we are all interdependent upon each other, all beings, not just humans, then let's go ahead and let's just explore that a little bit. So find your long spine. And however you need to show up today, but you're still showing up and doing this video, no judgment, you're here. Awesome. But within that, the longest spine you can today at this point in time. And just take a couple of moments to feel your own body, right? And become embodied. What do your muscles feel like? The face muscles, the shoulders, the neck, the belly, low back, any muscle anywhere. If there's tension that you're holding, can you soften and release? And if the answer is no, can you accept that and not judge that and be okay with that? Getting upset about it, that's the second arrow, right? Which will just make you more tense. So letting go. Maybe take a couple of moments and just tune into your breath and let the breath help you become even more embodied, right? You can feel the body moving on the breath. You can feel it as it enters at the nostrils and exits. And then we're going to work with the central channel. You might call that the spinal column. Right? In the Western world, I'm going to call that the Shushumna. It's the Sanskrit name for the central channel. So every time you inhale, I want you to inhale from the crown of the head, the very tippity top of your head, down, right through that central channel, the spinal column, all the way down to your tailbone. And then when you exhale, I want you to imagine that you are sending that energy, golden cord, tree roots, right? Whatever you want it to be, down into the earth from your body. So you're breathing at your own pace. I don't want to tell you when to breathe, but every inhale, you're bringing energy, as if you could, from the crown of the head, from outside, even through the crown of the head, down through the central channel. And with every exhale from that tailbone, imagine that you are sending deep and wide. Like if I'm working with the idea of a tree, right, I think of my trunk. So as wide as my body going down, not just one little tree trunk or one little root, right? Go down wide with that energy, let it spread out to the sides. Really tap into that earth energy, that sense of stability, of belonging. Steadiness, dullness, right? See, these are some of the qualities that we want to tap into. And then I want you to imagine that your tree roots, as it were, I'm going to work with that imagery. If you have something else you're working with, that's fine. But they start to go out, just like tree roots do, away from our center, down, yes, but also out in front of us, to the sides and behind us. And they start to connect with other roots, roots of animals and plants and trees, roots of your loved ones. And just like the wood wide web, right? That's what Suzanne Simmer calls what's happening under our earth. There are all these mycelium that connect trees to other trees and even to other grasses and flowers and things. And they have a symbiotic relationship, right? So I'd love for you to imagine that as your roots go down and start to spread out and start to make contact, right, with those around us, that we all benefit each other. The trees give us oxygen, right? We give them back carbon dioxide. There's some that are quite literal and they're happening. And I think there are many we don't even know about. When we bend down and we smell a flower, right? That scent can trigger an emotion or a chemical cascade of neurotransmitters and hormones. I'd like to believe that our breath back or our roots touching each other in this instance, right, we give benefits to them as well, something they need in order for them to flourish. Imagine your loved ones, wherever they may be, right? Whether they're in Montana, California, Mexico, Italy, right? It can be anywhere. You can reach them in this visualization. You can connect to them. And you can send them whatever they need to flourish. And they can send that right back to you. And trust that that's happening, even though they're not sitting and meditating and doing the same visualization. And then start to bring in some neutral people. What I mean by that is they're people that you maybe see and interact with that you don't really know and you're not friends with necessarily. So, maybe that person who serves you your coffee 3 days a week. Maybe the librarian at your local library, etc. And you can imagine that even being anywhere that you've been, right? If it helps to widen it, people who have been around you that you've seen or who have affected you, but you didn't know and you weren't necessarily friends with them. They weren't loved ones. Connect with them. Send them whatever they need to flourish. Maybe it's simply being seen, love, belonging. And imagine you're getting that back from them as well, what you need. And then the last one, which is more challenging for many people, is to imagine someone who you have a challenge with. Don't go to a big dramatic person, right? Unless that's your work and that's where you're at. But maybe just someone who challenges you a little bit. Maybe a coworker who drives you a little bonkers at work. Or maybe your kids being a little back talky these days, right? Or whatever that is. But if there's someone, and that's not to say you wouldn't still love your child, but you know what I mean? Someone who's a little challenging for you. And maybe imagine you're connected to them as well. And maybe there's something you can send them, something they need so they're not so insecure or fearful or whatever it is, right? That causes them to be challenging. Wouldn't that be so nice if they found what they needed so they could get along well in this world with all the other beings? Maybe we can send what they need. And maybe there's something we didn't even know that we needed from them, they're sending back. And then let's end with seeing ourselves, imagining ourselves, right? Wherever you want to imagine yourself, but that you have another being, that you are sending your roots, they're sending theirs, and it's the same you, but those two sets of roots are touching each other. And let's connect on a deeper level with ourselves. And let's imagine that we can send ourselves what we need to flourish: attention, awareness, belonging, love, forgiveness, compassion. Anything I'm not naming off. And then let's end by bringing your hands together in front of our heart. Get nice and tall. Inhale. As you gently bow that head in. So, two things today as we end. One, as you celebrate Independence Day, may you remember that we are all interdependent upon each other. And I have forgotten what the second piece I wanted to bring in was. So we'll leave it at that. And may I also do this work and remember how interdependent I am on all the beings everywhere. Oh, I know what it was. Namaste. Namaste, right? The spiritual meaning of that simply means the light that shines with me sees and honors the light that shines within you. So even if you don't say it out loud to people, maybe as you walk around today, the trees, the flowers, other people you meet, maybe you just namaste. You think that as you notice their light shining. Namaste. I must say it is kind of a fun exercise to just walk around and I just bow my head and do a little tilt as I'm, seeing people walking by me, animals, birds, and various things. And I think namaste and I think about that connection. I think it's a pretty powerful way to work. Yeah. Be well, friends.